One missing Star Trek. Strange New Worlds character has me worried they'll die in Season 3. Strange New Worlds Season 3 is shaping up to be one of the most anticipated entries in modern Star Trek, especially after the emotional cliffhanger that ended Season 2. But with all the buzz and speculation swirling around the new season, one question has left me genuinely unsettled. Where is Hammer's replacement, Pelia? The complete absence of the fan-favorite engineer from all the marketing, trailers, and promotional material has fans speculating, and me downright worried. Could Season 3 be the end of the road for the quirky Lanthanite? It's not uncommon for Star Trek to shuffle its cast or withhold certain characters for dramatic effect. But the silence around Pelia, played brilliantly by Carol Kane, is suspiciously loud. Introduced as the eccentric new chief engineer after Hammer's tragic death, Pelia brought an instant spark to Strange New Worlds. Her ageless wisdom, dry humor, and off-kilter charm added something unique to the crew of the USS Enterprise. She wasn't just a Hammer stand-in. She carved out her own space in Star Trek history. So why would the show seemingly sideline her now? The first troubling clue is how little we know about her in Season 3. Most returning characters, Pike, Spock, Una, Lon, M'Benga, Ortegas, and Uhura, have been spotted in teasers or mentioned in official synopses. Even new characters like the mysterious Montgomery Scott cameo at the end of Season 2 have received nods. But Pelia? Nothing. Not even a blink, and you'll miss it moment. For a character who had such a prominent role in Season 2, her vanishing act feels less like a surprise and more like a warning sign. Could this be deliberate misdirection? Possibly. After all, Star Trek has always played its narrative cards close to the vest. But more often than not, when a character disappears from promo material, it signals a shift, sometimes a tragic one. Pelia's potential death would be devastating, but it would also fall in line with Strange New Worlds' growing reputation for bold storytelling. This is the same show that killed off Hammer, explored war trauma through M'Benga and Chapel, and delivered a gut-wrenching alternate timeline where everyone dies horribly. The writers aren't afraid to shake up the crew if it serves the emotional and thematic arcs of the show. If Pelia dies in Season 3, it could serve a few purposes. First, it would create a huge emotional impact, especially for characters like Uhura, who formed a mentor-student bond with her, and Pike, who respected her centuries of experience. Second, it would clear the way for Scotty to step in as the Enterprise's new chief engineer, an inevitable transition that has to happen eventually if the show is going to sync with TOS canon. But while that might make sense from a timeline perspective, it still feels premature. Pelia's character has so much untapped potential. We've barely scratched the surface of her thousands of years of knowledge, her past relationships, or how she views humanity from her ancient perspective. And that's precisely why her absence is so worrying. Pelia should be part of Season 3's emotional backbone. After losing Hammer, Strange New Worlds gave us a character who could offer perspective and a touch of mystery. Killing her off too soon would be a disservice, not just to fans, but to the narrative richness the show has established. There's also the real-world factor. Carol Kane is a beloved actress with a long, illustrious career. Her casting in Star Trek was a coup, and her performance was warmly received by fans. But Kane is also famously choosy with roles and might not have committed to a long-term presence on the show. It's possible her limited availability forced the writers to plan an exit strategy. If that's true, they might have written her off the show in a way that honors her legacy, perhaps even with a hero's sacrifice. Still, it's hard not to feel like something's off. In Star Trek, characters don't just vanish without reason. When a major player like Pelia is omitted from everything ahead of the new season, it often means a dramatic twist is coming. And while Strange New Worlds has handled character deaths with elegance and weight, I'm not ready to say goodbye to another chief engineer so soon. Of course, there's always the chance we're being played. Maybe Pelia is being hidden from marketing to preserve a major plot point. Maybe she's off on a secret mission or in command of another vessel. Maybe she returns later in the season in a surprise that will blow fans' minds. Strange New Worlds is more than capable of pulling off such a twist. But until we see her on screen, the worry lingers. Pelia's absence is more than just